It has been 15 years since Michael Jordan retired from the NBA. His shoes has continued to break records. We're talking over 30 years. No sneaker have ever lasted that long and actually made that amount of money with that longevity, but the Air Jordan sneaker. So we will talk about in this video how the Jordans actually went from being number one to actually falling a little bit, and then to just gaining all of that popularity and money back into Jordan brand. The link for this article will be in the description. So you are looking at the Air Jordan 1, of course, greatest Jordans of all time. Now let's get right into it. And in 1984, Nike teamed up with Michael Jordan to launch Jordan brand, a brand of shoes and athletic wear built around the player. At the time, Nike was a struggling brand selling running shoes with an idea to reinvent itself as a company for athlete stars. ESPN reported that it wasn't so easy for the company to sign the then budding NBA rookie. Nike reportedly offered Jordan $500,000 a year in cash for 5 years, hoping it would convince him to come aboard. Unfortunately for Nike, Jordan really wanted to work with Adidas. This is something a lot of people did know, but Adidas wasn't really an option for Jordan, as the company was undergoing a leadership shift at the time. Here's a picture of Jordan wearing some Converse, something that is iconic when he was in his college days. Yeah, those are Converse. Converse, the shoe Jordan wore while playing for the University of North Carolina, wanted to sign Jordan, but it already had celebrity athlete endorsers in Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. As we can see another picture of a young MJ taking a jump shot with some Converse on. Now that's iconic. Converse made Jordan an offer, but he reportedly wasn't excited by it and didn't know where he would fit in the brand's already star-studded lineup, which consists of Larry Bird as one of the stars. Remember those Converse, people? Still, Jordan made one last attempt at his dream company, taking Nike's offer to Adidas and asking them to come anywhere close to the offer. It didn't work out with Adidas, and Jordan ultimately signed with Nike. So this was a match made in heaven. So Nike wanted to build an entire line around Jordan's almost superhuman ability to dunk, according to ESPN. So this is the idea of what Nike wanted to create in the Jordan brand, people. Because Jordan was a high flyer, could dunk, as we can see in this picture. They wanted to capitalize off this. If you didn't know, those are the Jordan 2 he's dunking in. So once Jordan was on board, he began wearing the brand shoes on court. The first Nike shoe he wore in the NBA was the Nike Airship, seen below. So let's take a look at this. These are the first Nikes Jordan ever wore in the NBA, and they are not Air Jordans. But as you can see, the Air Jordan 1 would actually be duplicated from the Nike Airship. That's what they were called, people. Facts. The very first pair that he wore from this eponymous brand was called Air Jordan 1. It caused a lot of commotion both on and off the court. So here are the original Air Jordan 1s. As we can see, they were copied off of those Nike Airship shoes that we looked at. And today these shoes are worth thousands of dollars. Yeah, these are the original with the Chicago colorway. which will later become known as the Bread. Now, the shoes were originally released to stores in April of 1985, and they were an instant hit. ESPN reported that Nike had sold 70 million worth of the shoes by May, just a month into the release, and that the Air Jordan brand had made Nike more than 100 million by the end of the year. Wow. So Nike co-founder Phil Knight called the success of Air Jordan 1 the perfect combination of quality, product, marketing, and athlete endorsement. Athlete endorsement is a strategy that many companies have employed over the years. From burgers to cell phones, NBA players are great at selling just about anything. Naturally, when one of the best players of all time, arguably the best athlete of all time, started selling sneakers, fans wanted to get their hands on them. When MJ first donned those Chicago Bulls colored sneakers, the NBA had a rule about having all players in primarily white shoes. Wow, the NBA has changed a lot since then, people. Jordan was fined $5,000 for wearing the shoes, but instead of taking them off the court, Nike decided it was a great exposure for the brand and chose to pay all of MJ's fine so he would continue to wear the shoes. And we now know those shoes as the Jordan 1 band. Yeah, there they are once again. Fans saw Jordan do things his own way when it came to playing the game, but this was the first time they saw him make what was essentially a huge fashion statement. Matt Cohen, VP of Business Development and Strategy at GOAT Group, told Business Insider. Two longtime Air Jordan collectors and members of the sneaker community told Business Insider their love for the brand started when they were kids watching MJ play ball. The reason I like Jordans is because I like basketball and I like Michael Jordan, Hannah Manapat told Business Insider. The longtime collector used to visit family in Chicago, and after the Bulls won the first three-peat, the famous back-to-back-to-back championship, she started paying attention to Jordan, the man. Manapat started collecting Air Jordans in the year 2000, and when she was a junior in high school. That was a year that Nike started to retro, or bring back into the market, certain Jordan styles. Her very first pair were the Air Jordan 11s. And these are probably one of the most popular Jordans of all time. Not probably, is one of the most popular Jordans of all time. So Manapat worked in retail, sneakers retail, of course, so she could put herself through college and afford to build up her Jordan collection. She said she became friends with other people in sneaker retail, and they formed a sort of community, often calling on one another to help them get a new pair that was coming out. Both Manapat and Cohen identified the 2000s as an era of everything throwback. Manapat said the rise in popularity of Jordan Retros as a lifestyle shoe made sense at the time because of the nostalgia factor. As we do remember, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith rocked a fresh pair of Jordans like almost every episode. Yeah. This guy stayed with a fresh pair of Jordans. I was watching Michael Jordan play basketball and do things that I had never been done before, Cohen said. When you're a kid, everything is about nostalgia. You want to dress like the athlete that you looked up to. You're watching arguably the best and greatest player, if not the greatest athlete of all time, do things in his own way, Cohen said. The way he played the game, the way he actually wore shoes on and off the court. Cohen has been collecting shoes since the late 90s, when he was in his early teens. For him, it was all about always wanting that shoe. Here's a picture of Michael Jordan versus Muggsy Bogues. That was funny. Demand for each season's Jordans was high, Cohen said. It was this historic thing every year when that new pair of Jordans was coming out. I was skipping school to go to the local sneaker store when I grew up at 7 in the morning. At that point, it was great. You only had to get there 3 hours early. Waiting for that shoe to release, he said, it was about buying them, putting them on your feet and walking into school, and everyone saying, how do you have that shoe? I was 2 hours late, but that's neither here nor there. Don't tell my teachers. Look at that line. Now the hype for certain Jordans still to this day look like this, but it is something crazy to see that many people online. It's been ingrained in Cohen since he was a kid, and he's not the only one. The phenomenon gave Nike the opportunity to successfully employ the idea of a retro. When a style was retro, that meant it was an older style, likely from the days Jordan was playing ball, that was revived and re-released into the retail market. His retros are very popular to this day because Jordan actually played in those sneakers. Manapat said that her very first pair of retro Air Jordan 11s were less than $100 at the time she bought them. She estimates around $80 to $85 since she's able to wear kid size. In 2018, when the shoes retroed again, she remembered the kid sizes costing $180. Wow. Both Manapat and Cohen said that as kids, it wasn't so easy to get your hands on limited release shoes. Hey mom, I want to spend $120 on a pair of shoes, Cohen remembered. And she was like, why can't you just get the $30 pair or the $60 pair? He said he would try and negotiate, even saying he used his birthday money. Adults, on the other hand, are making their own money and spending it how they want. Cohen pointed out that at the time of original Jordan releases, sometimes there would be multiple colorways released at once, but he was only allowed to get one. Now he could get all the variations he wanted, but wasn't allowed to get them. He told me he used to hunt for Jordans before he started really collecting them. He would go around buying as many pairs of the new release as he could, and then would resell them with a strategy to make a profit. As we can see today, the resale game is making people millions of dollars. The Air Jordan 3 is Cohen's favorite shoe of all time. It was the first shoe to feature the Jumpman logo on the tongue. Let's take a picture of that. As you can see, there's the Air Jordan 3. And the shoe also happened to coincide with the start of the Flight Club in 1999. The store was called Vintage Kicks at the release time. Flight Club was the original consignment store for rare and collectible sneakers. People like Cohen, who were buying with the with the intent to resell, would bring their shoes to their store and wait for them to sell. They mostly sold to everyone who couldn't or just didn't want to wait online, or either a raffle to be able to buy them from Nike itself. Fans were all over the Jordan brand while MJ was still playing in the NBA, and they would often pay hiked up prices at stores like Flight Club. But Cohen said the brand had catch it even after Jordan retired because tastemakers like Spike Lee and Brandy Norwood, just to name two, continued to show their support. Cohen said the shoes were often seen across all faces of pop culture at the time. Alas, as time went on, there was a short decline for Nike's Jordan brand. Cohen said the slump began around 2014 due to a combination of different factors. Cohen's take is that it was largely caused by fashion's move away from basketball-influenced clothing. He said when he thinks about who the tastemakers were in 2014 and 2015, he noticed that they were wearing skinnier leg pants. Take a look at Pharrell Williams on the MTV red carpet in 2002. Versus his MTV red carpet look here in 2015. These athletes and celebrities who were typically wearing Jordans with baggier style pants then started wearing skinnier, tight pants, and traditional chunky sneaker fell out of vogue, Cohen said. Cohen also noted that there were simply more players in the lifestyle sneaker game once 2014 rolled out. Fashion sites like Heist. Nobody point out that the rise of Adidas suppressed whatever momentum Nike and Jordan Brand in particular had going forward. Kanye West worked with Nike to release the Air Yeezys in 2009. He left the brand for Adidas in 2013, claiming that Nike wasn't interested in executing any of his design ideas. Jordan Brand lost its luster, Cohen said. They experienced so much success for so many years that Nike didn't have to try that hard. The product that they started putting out wasn't speaking to the OG community who watched Jordan play. Cohen said that many of the people who the company gained as customers after Michael Jordan started playing actually don't even know who the NBA star is. So they weren't buying Jordans out of nostalgia. He said GOAT has seen massive growth in its 12 to 17-year-old customer demographic over the past few years. Their new idols are Steph Curry, Cohen said. When Steph came onto the scene, he became the #1 best-selling basketball jersey. And guess what else they were buying? Steph Curry shoes. Curry is an Under Armour sponsored athlete. After losing Kanye West and losing its ranking as top sneaker seller to Adidas, the Jordan Brand decided to do something, Cohen said, it actively stayed away from previously non-athlete collaborations. Collaborations are what people want now, Cohen said. So Jordan Brand is collaborating on iconic styles with some of the biggest names in fashion, like with its 2017 retro high OG friends and family shoe, the Colette in Paris. Another great aspect of expensive collaborations is that they increase demand for older styles. Guess what? If someone can afford that $1,000 collaboration, they're going for the next best thing. So Nike deploys royalty by introducing a collaboration on limited release. Nike also took action toward getting its original Michael Jordan loving clientele back by reviving new versions of retros that resonated with them. Cohen said the Nike Air logo was originally on the back of early Jordan shoes because the Jumpman logo pictured here wasn't made right away. Nike re-released the Air Jordan 3, the first ever white cement, Cohen said, the most recently in 2013 and called it the Retro 88. 1988 was the year. The shoe was originally released instead of having the Jumpman logo on the heel plate. They replaced it with the Nike Air logo. Cohen had the original Retro 3s in the white cement colorway from a few years prior with the Jumpman logo on the back. He said it was imperative that he got his hands on that Nike Air logo. Nike started employing more strategies like this to get back into touch with the original collecting consumer. So, we've seen a release of the Jordan 11 Space Jams, an iconic shoe that hadn't been released in 10 years. The shoe that Michael Jordan wore in the '96 film Space Jam. Amanda Pitt is just one more collector who capitalizes on those re-releases. She says she now has every Air Jordan 11 Concord Retro since the original came out in 2000. Look at this collection, people. Sick, huh? Additionally, Cohen said that as a younger consumer learn more and more about who Michael Jordan is and what he meant for the sneaker community, they think Jordan Brand is what they should be buying. This is largely perpetrated by today's tastemakers bringing the shoe back into their wardrobe. Tennis champion and fashion icon Serena Williams has been seen putting on her custom Air Jordan is after a match. So everyone loves Jordans. It's not a secret. And it doesn't hurt anyone to, you know, if you were born in like the 2000s or the millennials and you don't know anything about Michael Jordan, you never saw him play on TV, it wouldn't hurt you just to do some research on the man, you know, and just not rock the shoes just because everybody else wearing them. So I could feel what the OGs are saying. Jordan is made of black python skin and black hair on the hide, and according to DM Custom Sneakers. So he's making all types of shoes for everyone, all out in China. This brand has completely took a step higher when they just bounced back just a little. That time when Adidas beat Jordan Brand, that kind of motivated them to be who they are. So as of now, with some reinvention and a new sense of storytelling, Jordan Brand clawed his way back into the game last year. Complex likened a comeback to the player himself, who made his name by playing with a chip on his shoulder and having a laser focus of success. Jordan Brand has executed this comeback so well that it has worked its way back into monthly lists of top selling shoes in America. And I don't think there will ever be another shoe as great as the Nike Air Jordan. Like this video, leave your comment, share it on social media, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and subscribe later.